Hi everyone, this is Susie from Minnesota, and I'm just going to take you on a small garden tour of what's blooming in my garden and what's looking good. It's the beginning of August. Hydrangeas are in their full glory, starting to turn pink. The bees love this plant. These are all paniculatas. I think this one's Pinky Winky. Oh, I'm going to back up here because there is a they're just massive. These flower heads, I always worry about a heavy rain, no matter what they say. I mean, these stalks are nice and thick and sturdy. The only thing is that's a lot of flower. They get wet and they do tend to flop. But look at the size of that. I would say this is about, at least 6 feet tall. And I trimmed them up about 1/3. And I'm okay with this height. And honestly, I love it because it offers some privacy. That's kind of why I planted this over here. So like how the height is all pretty similar. And then honestly, this is Little Limelight. I probably won't do much trimming next year on this, considering how big this gets. So what I'll do is I'll just take off the old flower heads and be done with this one. Because I wish I probably should have gone with just the Limelight hydrangea, and I think that would have looked I'm not going to say better because it still looks really good. It just would have matched the other ones a little more. But it's loaded. Nice thing about not having a lot of rain is there is no flopping. And then in here, this is the verbena that's self-seeded, but it's gonna bloom over here too. I'm gonna leave it. I think the purple with that color will look fantastic. This is a bloomering lilac, and it is reblooming. Sporadically. That's nothing spectacular. In the spring, late spring, it looks the best. I did not trim up any of my lilacs this year. I just didn't get to it in time, and it's fine. Next year I'll do some pruning. This is huge, but again, I love this because of privacy. If I could, I would put a fence around my whole property. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I know I did a video on my containers, and this rose smells lovely between the rose and the sweet peas. I was going to say, and the bees love this, and look, proof. Oh, focus. There we go. I don't mind doing this because right now, this smells wonderful. It's just a shrub rose, nothing spectacular. Oh, I was going to show you. I hear it. Where is he? They chirp. I don't know if you heard that. They got the cutest little chirping noise that I know, and that little vibration of their wings. So you know when they're around. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Finally, I'm seeing the butterflies coming. I might have to wear a helmet with these hummingbirds. They're getting really close. But yeah, I planted that climbing rose down here, William Baffin, and it's doing pretty good. I'm just going to tie it into this arch here, but I'm hoping next year it puts on a little more growth, and I think these containers here will just have a plant of something. That's if the rose comes back. Sorry. But you can see, and it did bloom for me. So this one's a little bit bigger than the other one, but this was bigger when I got it also. So it is living, just not very impressive right now. And then what can I say about this garden? It is a wild, beautiful mess. I was trying to trim up as many of the Mexican sunflower as I could. But then the other day I was sitting back here and a goldfinch came and was eating from it. So I decided to leave some of the heads. It was there, I would say, for about 30 minutes. I think it's this one that's making that noise. Okay. Since he's behaving, I'm gonna walk away slowly. Zinnias look really good. The Nicotiana is doing really good. Gomphrena has gotten a little out of control. That's okay. Bunny tails. If I can show you, this soil in this bed is, can you see that? That's how dry it is. And I also had put probably about a 3-inch layer of mulch on this too to help. So I'm pretty sure all of these bunny tails are dried up. There's some green coming through, but keeping this bed watered has been a nightmare. So whatever survived, I just leave. And other things aren't doing quite as good. The cosmos, but then again, I think the cosmos is just getting crowded out too. It's still kind of hanging in there. I've been deadheading a lot, and the blooms are much tinier too. So it's okay though. I still like it. Down in here, all along here, these are self-seeded celosia. Last year I had planted celosia. I think it's Asian Garden. I'm not 100% sure on that. And they self-seeded. And I'm leaving it. I like it. The fact that it's doing good with as extreme weather as we've had this year. No watering. So, yeah, it's all over down in here. They're back. I'm trying to figure out. I better get a move on. This is going to be too long just viewing hummingbirds. But yeah. The spider flower, I love it. I just, look at that. So yeah, look at this. I was looking at this the other day. This is a zinnia bloom. I think something went horribly wrong here. So we'll see how that opens up. Like I said, my viners this year I'm very upset with because this is a hyacinth bean vine, a ruby moon. I have not seen any blooms from it. It's got leaves. It's doing really good, but not what I was expecting. Probably a little too much competition in here from the other stuff. So but this garden, I can say it's for the pollinators. And they love it, and I love it. Look at how this spider plant, or spider flower I should say, Cleome, is probably 8 feet tall. Probably should trim that. Let's see, I'm going to go over here quick. I'm going to show you this dahlia down here is, it's put on a good amount of growth. I just hope I get a bloom from it this year. I usually have way better luck with dahlias, and this year, so far, this is the only one. Unfortunately, though, the heads are never facing the way that I want them to face. But good. This zinnia here is finally, I really like that. Isn't that neat? And then with the color of the salvia, along with this daylily, Nosferatu. I love it. Probably should have done that before the tour. And that's my way of getting rid of stuff. I just chuck it back into my garden and it can feed the soil. And yes, I know that, you know, it could attract certain unwanted creatures, but there we go. Oh, and if, let's see, where is it? This is getting a little overgrown. This is also just snapdragon rocket orchid with some silver sage. You can see it's doing what it wants to, but I think that's kind of cool. So I'm letting it. But yeah, down here, a lot of you ask me how I weed. And so this right here, this was my dad's hoe, and the stick broke off. It rotted and it broke, but I kept this. And I'm kind of a lazy weeder. It's, if I can do this, I'm right-handed, but I'll do it. So I just go along and you see this weed here, I just chop it off. Granted, I'm not getting the whole thing. Then I just kind of put the mulch back and I leave the weeds where they get cut off, because they, especially if it's a sunny, hot day, they'll just shrivel up right away and it feeds the soil. Granted, I don't have anything planted here, but let's see. I did the same thing over here. That means some of these are down here, and I just cut them off at the base. Eventually, the weed will weaken. Most. I'm just going to say most, not all. But that is kind of how I weed. It takes me maybe 30 minutes a week. And then this just finds a home in certain areas. I love it. So yeah, that is how I weed. It's a little lazy, or I do have some weeds down in here. I could do the same thing, but as I'm going around and just looking at my gardens, if I see a weed, I just bend down, pick it up, and I do it more with hostas. I just chuck it under the foliage and I let it lay. But yeah, there's times I'm just kind of walking around seeing stuff, and so if I pick 10, 15 weeds, that's 10, 15 weeds less than I have to do the next time. So most people, so yeah, all of that, or I chuck it in the grass because the lawnmower is going to chop it up. My biggest weeding, I would say, is late spring, early summer. And that's just because the soil temps are finally warming up. You get that flush of new growth. Yes, mulching helps. But the only thing is weed seeds are always flying around. They're always germinating. So it helps to a point, but I still get weeds. Mulching just helps more with moisture control, which I need to be better about. I was going to trim this up. This is White Wands of Veronica, but it is loaded with bees. So where you see those, would you say spires moving, that's just bees. So I'm leaving it. It looks a little unsightly, but they love it, so I love it. This is Tall Garden Phlox David. Should be a little taller, but it smells wonderful. And then I have the rose back here. This is also Easy Rose. Double red. Love it. Easy Rose. I guess also easy, hence the name. I do have one back here. It's kind of peeking through the David Phlox. They get about 3 to 4 feet tall, so they're doing pretty good. So I did remove my Russian sage. You can see that was a huge spot in here that it was taken up. I kept putting it off. Finally, I just did it. I'm like, just do it. And it was hard, but... And then in here, I just have yarrow. And these were all clearance plants. They must have been sheared back. And this is another bloom here. But it's such a pretty light yellow. So hopefully I like it. Hopefully it gets a little bit taller. I'm hoping about 2 feet. I don't know the name of it. There was no tags in this. It was just marked down, so that might have been also another issue. But I love that light yellow, just kind of a break from the whites, the reds, the pinks. Sorry, I've got to step out of my garden without stepping on stuff. And then I also got an Amsonia, and it is blue ice. Blue star. Because this pot won't always be here, then it can kind of fill in this area. And I am thinking that I might, this is a fern peony here, move that where the other one is over somewhere. I'm still thinking on it. These roses in front here, they're smaller. They get about 2 feet. Where's a good color? This is called Italian Ice. Another also easy rose. Trimmed up my Nepeta cat's pajamas. Hoping for another flush of blooms here. Sedums are they look really full, pretty. Yes, they split. But I still like the color that they give. I don't know. So I will be splitting them, see if it is a sun issue or just they're massive. Lamb's ears are filling in very nicely. Bee balm is finally done. Just a stray little bloom over here. And then some coneflowers in bloom. This is tiny. It does get a bit bigger. I had moved it earlier in the season, so I think that might be why it's not quite so... It's not a tall variety, but I would say it should be about a foot taller than that. But see what I mean by the verbena being kind of a see-through plant? You can still see through, but then you get that little pop of purple up there. And over here, this Hydrangea is beautiful. Everything over here is just really great. I left the flower heads yet on the ladies' mantle. They still look pretty good. I'm just gonna go over here real quick and I'll show you where it's not so good. These are still left. I have some weeding down here and that's okay. This is an anemone. It's getting some flower spikes on it. It's the later bloomer. This Hydrangea still looks great. And then everything over here starts getting smaller. I'm struggling. The daylily looks okay, it just didn't bloom a lot. And then this poor Hydrangea. So it's trying. I will leave it, see what happens next year. I might have to actually apply like some compost to this area to help see what happens. But just letting you know that not everything looks fantastic. Not much blooming over here, except my honeysuckle is blooming sporadically. And I don't know the name of this variety. I want to say Major Wheeler, but I don't know for sure. All I know is there's not much scent to this one at all. Maybe I'm smelling it at the wrong time. I have trimmed up, or I cut off all of my hosta flowers. They were all pretty spent. And I might just do a tour of the hostas and talk about them. I know some of you have asked for that, so I have Black-Eyed Susan in here blooming. It was bigger, but the rabbits decided to help prune it. So, but it's got flower heads on it, looking good. Sedum here is late to flower. It colors up later in the season. That's good. Once it blooms, I'd get a little sad though. Oh, I was going to end this too over here. I keep going past this. But these over here are turtlehead cleone. Am I saying that right? And they all have flowers on. They are also a later bloomer. So this is for late season color. They're massive, and they're going all over the place, and I let them because I love them. Bee balm's coming to an end here. I just leave it. I do like their little flower heads on there, and then this is a cardinal flower. It's also blooming down there. Hummingbirds love this too. It is like a red, lipstick red. These back here are, I think the tag said Brown-Eyed Susan. It's a native to my area. So the flowers are much tinier, and that's okay. This massive plant here is late figwort, also a native. And looks like quite aggressive too, so I'm going to have to be careful with that one. Teeny tiny little, I'll see if I can get over there and show you. Not a wall plant, but hey, it's got some height to it. These are just lovely. Oh, love them. At one point, I've got that pot back there. I gotta be careful. That all of these daylilies were in bloom, and it just looked really pretty. I was questioning about if I wanted to keep that one there because I have so much grassy texture kind of running, but I'm okay. It was beautiful. And my Baptisia does this for me. Puts out these great big seed pods. Some people's don't, so not sure why they do it with mine. If I can reach. So nothing wow about it, but it definitely attracts the pollinators. Something about it is wow to them. And then Joe Pye. That's got some massive blooms on it. I did not cut it down this year, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. I think the blooms are definitely bigger if you don't do that. So far not flopping, that was my issue with Joe Pye weed. All right, I gotta look where I'm going. Beans are doing really good. I need to get in here for a harvest. They're loaded. I'm very happy. Purple teepee. My cucumber's vining in here. I'm leaving it. Finally, I'm getting some dragon tongue bush beans. Itty bitty baby. These zinnias look really pretty. I just need to deadhead them a little bit more. Picked a lot of cucumbers here the other day. I've got one there, here. I mean, they're all over. Early Russian is really good. I really like that one. I know I have a big one. Oh, that's not an early Russian. That's a muncher cucumber over there. It's got a little smoother skin. So yeah, this cucumber patch right here has been really fantastic. This, I lost my path. I picked a jalapeno. There, it's super, look at that. That is crazy. But the plant doesn't look that great either, so we'll just... So yes, I am not great at growing peppers. That is the one place I kind of fail at, but I keep trying. And then, oh, no. There. I just chuck weeds on the ground. I walk on them. So here, this is not powdery mildew. And that is just the plant. And I think it's kind of pretty. But look at the size of these leaves. Isn't that crazy? Got to be careful. Looks like the bees are doing their job. But finally, I've been getting some. You can see I've got a zucchini down here. I think there's some in the back there that will probably prove to be hard to get. And then I picked a zucchini. Oh, oops. Got to be careful. I'd picked a zucchini over here. The one thing that I didn't, it's covered in bees, so I do have to be super careful. But this one over here is a striped one. It is definitely not the same variety as this, and it was from the same seed packet. I'll show you where I have some others planted. Oh, my poor rhubarb. But look how dry. Look at what the soil does. How it pulls away. Oops. Yeah, so look at all of my acorn squash. Isn't that awesome? Okay, it's not a lot, but you know what? It did better than what I thought, and that's a nice size. They're at least twice the size of the ones of last year, so I'll call that a plus in my book. I had gotten rid of 2 plants in here, so that might have helped too. These are lima beans back here, doing really good. I just have to see when to harvest them. I know nothing about growing lima beans, so maybe you guys can give me some hints. I can Google it too, but I always love to hear from viewers. Cucumbers are drying up here. Still have some producing, but the plant's looking pretty tough. Next year, I don't mind grow bags. They are nice. I think they're probably better for plants that don't quite need as much watering as what cucumbers do. I have harvested a lot, so I'm definitely not going to complain, but I might just put in some narrow raised beds here, maybe like a foot wide and a foot tall, just so I can still have a walking. But I do like these grow bags here. They're where is it? This is Garden Mate. I think these were all gotten off of Amazon. Very nice, sturdy fabric. Love that one. And then, is it Vivo Sun? Yeah, that's kind of fancy in there. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm just a little channel. And that's okay. And again, great quality. Very, very, very sturdy. There was some that I got that, I mean, bigger ones will probably be less sturdy, but nice, nice quality. Yeah, so not too bad. Kajari melon here. Looks like I have just a teeny tiny little fruit on right here too. We'll see if that amounts to anything. Not sure. It is August. These are doing pretty good. I've really limbed them up in here, if you can see. So hopefully they start ripening a little faster. Look at this teeny tiny little baby there. I'll get around to the other side. And down here, not ready because they're still green on the bottom. Same with that. I'm going to turn here without making you dizzy. This is my Minnesota midget melon. I have not cut up a t-shirt or anything like that. I don't have any nylons either. I got rid of all those, but yeah, doing pretty good. I've lost some smaller ones, so but that's okay. I still have one here that might amount to something, so I do have that one over there, this one, and this is the nicest one so far. Just hoping for a taste this year to see if they're worth it. So I don't know if you remember when I showed you when I planted this up, I turned my fire pit into a planter. And I think I started them about probably mid to late June in little individual containers, then potted them up in July. Look at how they've grown. Look at this. So you can see these are all from the same seed packet, but see what I mean by the striped? And then this is just a green one. But they are loaded. I have another striped over here. So honestly, in my climate, Minnesota, I will plant these all a little bit later. Because I'm not seeing any of the squash vine borers around. And no damage. So I need to write that down. These still have not ripened yet. I have been defoliating a lot of this. I did pick a Paul Robeson and it was absolutely wonderful. This is tiny. Oh, he's gonna come off. That is not worth it. And that's just due to infrequent watering or no water. Oh, I think I'm starting to get some color on this one. So, look at the size of these. But, look. So they're not really pretty. And this one's really nice here. Which one is that? Oh, no, maybe a Dr. White Cheese. These have all bent down from the weight of the tomatoes. I'm just afraid that they're not going to ripen. But this one too, bent. It's a Hungarian heart. And this is a Carbachi sweet pepper. That looks good. That's, I mean, when you think about how big this plant is, or how little, I should say, that's got quite a bit on. This is a California not so wonderful. Oops. Don't do that. But it didn't look the best, right? We'll just put that back down here. Yeah, my pepper growing is not fantastic. These are loaded. I hope they start coloring up. I mean, for teeny tiny little tomatoes, you would think they should. Barry's Crazy Cherry Tomato. I mean, they're loaded. They're tiny. I think they should be yellow. Basil is kind of getting... Oh, this isn't... This is... I think it's Ivarsky. Looks a little bit better. I'll be a little more delicate with this. Beets in here. They've come up in here. I just need to keep up with the watering. Some more peas that I sowed. Looking pretty good. Not great germination, but it will be enough. Oh, more jalapenos down here that, well, we'll just leave them to it. So yeah, so that was just a little garden tour of, okay, just zoomed by my head. Just a little garden tour of how things are doing right now in early August. It wasn't a full one. Probably got a little bit longer than what a small garden tour should. But yeah, so far it's been a really great growing year and I can't complain. And, oh, I have to show you this too. I keep forgetting about this. This was my strawberry bed. I did get rid of them. This little grassy stuff coming up here is like bunching onions. So that's what that is. But that's not too bad. That's a little, it feels wet down there. It has sunk, so any of my containers that I get rid of, I'll be emptying the soil into this bed and the other ones. But I have 4 of the acorn squash here. They look really good. I'm not seeing any flowers. I mean, they are producing, let me think. But will they come to anything by the end of the season? Not sure. But in here, all of that, that's not weeds, that's Arctic raspberries that actually are coming up now that the strawberries are not taking over. So just maybe this will be a good thing. So we'll see. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this little garden tour. Oh, how can I miss this? It's like, I went right by the coneflower, but I missed this bright pink plant. This is a tall garden phlox too, and they smell amazing. I don't know the variety, but this pink here is more kind of a salmon pink. So it is really nice. And then I know that it has just a little one that's seeded over here with a tiny little bloom. So very happy with this one too. Love the tall garden phlox, and so far I don't have any powdery mildew. I know they're supposed to be resistant to it, so we'll see. Although, I suppose I need to have moisture in order for that to happen, right? Yeah, this is lovely. I just love watching the bees. The white wands veronica. That's just one plant in there, and I think I'm going to split that a little bit later, probably mid to late August. So yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this little garden tour, and bye for now.